time for a media watch next with Emma James, and I had a feeling this was coming, but now you're actually going to talk about it. Donald Trump's Independence Day speech is still prompting a lot of reactions online.
Absolutely. It was billed by the US president himself as the show of a lifetime, but a lot of critics worried that it was just going to amount to a 2020 re-election rally. It does appear, though, that he struck a fairly neutral tone by Donald Trump's standards. His number one fans at Fox News described it as being patriotic, non-partisan and unifying. It does seem, though, that the new White House press secretary didn't quite get the memo on the fact that this is supposed to be about Independence Day and not the president, because she tweeted out this image of the crowds gathered to watch and then said, "Incredible to see all in attendance to hear our president speak," and then giving second billing, of course, to the fact that it is Independence Day, which seems a little bit out of kilter with a lot of the messages that we were seeing. Donald Trump, though, did give his critics something to feed on with a rather unfortunate series of historical blunders. Take a listen to this.
Our army manned the airports. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do. And at Fort McHenry, under the rocket's red glare, it had nothing but victory.
How many times did you listen to that to make sure what you was right?
I'm still not entirely sure what all the words were in it. Was it a stumble? Did he misread something? Was it an unfortunate ad-lib? And is the speechwriter still in a job is probably one of the other questions I'd like to ask. It doesn't, of course, take a fact-checking genius to work out that, of course, there weren't any airports to take over because there weren't even any planes until more than a century later in 1903. Lots of other issues with what he said in that particular excerpt and other parts. Washington Post has documented that quite fully in this article, but they've also added the words of Donald Trump today, where he's explained what happened. And he said the teleprompter broke down in the rain. He said it was actually hard to look at anyway because there was rain all over it. And he says that it actually crashed in the middle of that very sentence. He does, though, say he knew the speech by heart. Clearly not quite well enough, because it would appear that airports line was something that he just threw in a bit of a panicky moment when he didn't have the words in front of him. Whatever the reasons for it, it has prompted some very, very funny reactions online. The hashtag Revolutionary War airport stories is well worth taking a look at. This is actual footage of the US Army storming the airports during the War of 1812. Of course, he's in a car.
Of course,
there.
that's what I was just going to point out.
Absolutely. This one, the Battle of Baggage Claim. Many lives were lost, and bags too. Some people are saying it was the worst massacre they had ever seen. Lots of very creative work. Who among us shall ever forget Washington's glorious siege at Pan Am? And this one, I think, is my favourite. Will my emotional support animal require an extra seat? It's interesting, though, that Russia also weighed in with some more general mockery. On state television, Russia 1, they talked about basically his pre-election BS and laughed at the Fox News anchors for being propagandists, if you like.
Oh, really?
Saying 2 tanks is all they've got. Their paint is peeling. Their uniforms are wrinkled. Trump should have asked our defence ministry to teach them how to organise military parades.
Ouch. Turning our attention next to a new film version of The Little Mermaid that has prompted an online row over how we portray fictional characters.
Yes, absolutely. I think the first thing to say with this is mermaids are not real, if you hadn't worked that one out already. Disney announced they are doing a live-action version of The Little Mermaid, and they have cast Halle Bailey as the actress to play Ariel. Now, as you can see, it's not Halle Berry.
That's
a lot
what I
of
was
people
just
getting
gonna-
a little bit confused. But clearly there is a difference between the animation that we're so familiar with and the girl who they have cast. She is extremely excited, saying it's a dream come true to take on this role. She is an amazing singer as well. Lots of people pointing that out. However, not everyone sharing the joy, unfortunately. Lots of ones like this. And I think when a tweet starts, first of all, I'm not a racist, you kind of know you're in trouble. I won't let Disney ruin our childhood memories, so I started a petition to get justice for Ariel and our childhood memories.
Oh my God, what's she going to say if Idris Elba becomes 007?
Who knows? I don't even want to think about it. This gentleman is using science as an argument against casting a black actress as Ariel. This is a direct attack on a masterpiece.
What?
Less sunlight underwater, less melanin in the skin. Black people can't be mermaids. No people can be mermaids. I hasten to to sort of repeat that point because it is an important one. However, what's nice to see is that today there's been such an ongoing backlash, but the hashtag #MyAriel that was being used by racists has really been completely taken over by people who are being positive. They should have used an actual real mermaid. Sick and tired of this human privilege, says this gentleman. This is another one of my favourites. Yeah, fictional mermaids have been oppressed for decades. Thank you for bringing attention to their plight. It really does beg a belief, but there we go. Truth is stranger than fiction.
In 2019, we're having these debates on fictional characters.
Unbelievable.
Indeed. Emma, thank you very much for that. Emma James there with Look at Media Watch.